Hi, my name is Joe Jackson. I'm a journalist, author, interviewer, and broadcaster. I also happen to be a lifelong fan of the King. And back in 1970, after Elvis redefined himself and made what I believe to be some of his greatest music in the 1968 TV special, and particularly the sessions in Memphis the following year, he then went on to record during his February 1970 Vegas gigs modern songs by the likes of Creedence Clearwater Revival, Joe South, and Tony Joe White. This then led to me checking out albums by those artists, and I became fans of, in particular, Joe South and Tony Joe White. But of the three, it was Tony Joe White I loved most, and not just Polk Salad Annie. In fact, I love nearly every track on his albums, such as The Train I'm On and Homemade Ice Cream. So circa 1974, I was delighted when Elvis recorded two tracks, one from each album. The songs For Old Time's Sake and I've Got a Thing About You, Baby. All of which is why, nearly a quarter century later, when Tony Joe became the latest of my heroes I tracked down to interview, I found fascinating the story he told me about attending the session at which Elvis recorded both songs. That said, I also found telling the fact that Freddie Beanstalk from RCA was still pulling the strings when it came to the songs Elvis recorded. After all, it was RCA's insistence and pressure from Colonel Parker, and maybe Presley himself, that led to Elvis recording so much crap during the 1960s, because both, they're all concerned, wanted a cut of the publishing rights. This, as we all know, led to Dolly Parton refusing to relinquish the publishing rights to her song, I Will Always Love You, which Elvis wanted to record. So sad he didn't. By the way, if you want access to the full tapes of the following interview for personal use or for a documentary, which is what I use the interview for, contact me via my website, joejacksoninterviewer.com. But now let's listen to the southern drawl of Tony Joe White.
And I was just copying Elvis and the hooker and all that.
So what were you doing of Elvis? Like Heartbreak Hotel, the bluesier tunes, the gospel there? I Was the One, that kind of gospel-y stuff?
I was doing pretty close to how he did it.
Yeah.
I stood up, I had a microphone I could fit around my neck and still play my guitar and do the little moves and all that.
Do the hips too?
Do the hips, I was doing it. And it was so strange, like he was such a hero, and then all of a sudden they called up after all that happened to me with Polk and everything, and he's doing mine.
Yeah, how did that feel?
It felt like unbelievable.
Just once. Because I know it was great because I know Elvis's material very intimately, and I've talked to Gordon Stoker and the Jordanaires and Charlie Hodge and all those people who work with him. And I know that Presley in early 70, when he did the second Vegas show, wanted to show people that he wasn't just a 50s relic. So he took Joe South's Walk a Mile in My Shoes, Polk Salad Annie, Proud Mary, and they all make sense because they're all southern, kind of swamp rock. And it was kind of, he took you to prove to people, I'm in touch with what's going on. Yeah. So isn't that where Polk Salad Annie came on board?
It sure did, about 71, 72.
Yeah.
And he flew me and my wife out there to watch him record it live.
Really?
And we all hung out for a couple of days, stayed backstage and talked. He said, he said, I always felt like I wrote that song. I said, well, the way you do it on stage, it looks like it, because he really rocked them.
He did, yeah.
I mean, he'd get down to sweat on that song.
Yeah. It was very sexy.
Elvis was a sexy man, and
but it was also him and the Sweet Inspirations. And when they got I know how you did it, right? But he took it into kind of, it was almost like the sex is one level, but you got to take people's souls up to the sky, and he'd keep doing that.
Oh, yeah,
and they'd do the background. Yeah, the girls would do the background, and it was like a musical ride. And we know the language, but it was also to bring you higher, to bring your soul higher. That he was kind of going, I got to get these people out of their bodies.
He'd almost do it.
He could do that.
It was almost that way. He'd almost go out on it.
Go out there.
Yeah.
Which was great, though. He must have felt good doing that. That's what he probably meant.
Well, it was so cool because, I mean, it's like during that time, he was like in touch, into the street, into the feel of everything, man. Long, he was lean, he was hard. And then a few years later, 2 or 3 years later, I met down in Memphis. They called me one night to a guy had a German accent, and he woke me up about 4 o'clock in the morning. He said, Tony Joe. I said, yeah. He said, This is Freddie Beanstalk, and we're down in at Stax recording Elvis. Do you have any more songs?
Right.
I said, what the hell are you calling me at 4 in the morning for? He said, you don't understand, this is Freddie Beanstalk. I said, I don't give a shit who you are, man. It's 4 in the morning. So he got Felton Jarvis on the phone.
Producer.
Felton said, TJ, you got anything? I said, let me get up and look. So I went through, and I got a thing about you, baby.
Yeah.
And for old time's sake.
Yeah.
And a couple other ones on a little demo. So I drove downtown Memphis about 4:30 in the morning, 5, and pulled up into this alley in the back. And there was these two little men with hats and overcoats that were like spies. And they said, did you bring the tapes? I said, well, why in the hell do you think I'm down here? So they ushered me into this little room, had an old-timey, real tape recorder sitting there, and they put the tape on and they played about 4 bars of For Old Time's Sake.
Was Elvis there? Was he listening?
No, he was in the studio.
Right.
Him and Felton didn't even know I was in the room yet.
All right.
So he played 4 bars of that, and they said, we like that. Fast forward. Thing about you, baby.
On 4 bars, they accept.
So here's these 2 men deciding the songs. Old men like 60s, 65 years old. So get in the thing about you, baby.
Freddie Beanstalk and who?
One of his executives.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Thing about you, baby. 2 bars. Yeah. We like it. Next song, 2 bars. We don't like this. Next song, we don't like this. You can go. And that hit me wrong, boy. I said, what do you mean I can go?
All right, okay.
I said, where's Felton at, man? He said, oh, you know Felton? I said, we've been friends for years.
Yeah.
About that time, Felton looked through the window and saw me. And so he came in and got me, and then went in the studio, and then Elvis and him, and talked it out. But I thought at the time, how strange for this man who had so much to do with music to be letting these businessmen select his songs.
Yeah, but see, that seems to be the curse of Elvis's career, because there were these guys making all the deals. But Felton seems to have been cool.
Felton always hung in there. Very cool man. Soulful all the way. Always taking up for the rider and protecting you on your end.
Hi, Joe Jackson here again. I thank you for listening to this edition of the Joe Jackson Interviews podcast. And don't forget, if you want access to the full tapes for personal or professional use, contact me via my website, joejacksoninterviewer.com.